Welcome to Middle Fingers Up, the show where we hold our heads high and our middle fingers higher. I'm your host, Kieran McKay. Today's episode holds a special place in our hearts. Our diverse array of guests, each bringing a unique perspective, generously share their experiences on life's intricate challenges and the transformative journey of self-discovery. They are compassionate about their personal growth, challenging experiences that have shaped them, and many, many lessons that they've learned along the way. And in doing so, they continue to contribute to a collective narrative of vulnerability, inspiration, and a meaningful sense of connection. The journeys we've had the honor of exploring, whether it's about hope, courage, willingness, or other facets of the human experience, have been truly inspiring. And we are so grateful for the opportunity to amplify these voices. Today, we're privileged to have a guest who, moved by the experiences shared by a previous guest on addiction and recovery, reached out to add his own voice to this vital conversation. It takes an extraordinary amount of courage to open up about such personal journeys, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to provide a platform for these authentic discussions. Before we dive into our conversation, I just want to take a moment to express our gratitude to all of our listeners. Your support and engagement make it possible for us to bring these stories to light and foster a sense of community around topics that matter. But now, let's turn our attention to our guest today. So everyone, meet Prav. Prav reached out to us not too long ago with the desire to share his own journey of recovery, hoping that his story might resonate with someone out there who needs to hear it. It's a privilege to have you on the show. Welcome. Thanks so much for being here, man.
Thanks, Karen. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm good.
We've been prepping for this for a little bit, hey? You and I have we're besties now.
I know. We are, definitely.
I should have came and said hi to you when I was visiting BC not too long ago.
Definitely, yeah. I know you were here for what, the Canucks game?
I was here for that was a bonus. I got to go to the Wally night at the Abbotsford Canucks games. We're all big fans of Arshdeep Bains, number 9 in our house here. So we went to support the Wally night, which was amazing, super amazing to see something like that happening out in I was telling you in BC, I don't think we would get to see something like that happening out here yet in Calgary, but I know there's folks working on those things. But I went out for a wedding, and I heard you also were at a wedding, and surprise, surprise, we weren't at the same wedding, hey? There's only so many of those.
Yeah, it was one of my good friends. They got married a couple of weeks back.
Yeah. How did that go?
It was good. It was fun. I went to every event.
Yeah.
So,
every day?
It was fun. I think I missed 2 events.
Yeah.
I just got tired. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm going home today.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because my girlfriend was saying to me when we were out there at the wedding we went to, she's like, okay, when you show up at the reception tonight, look at all the family members' faces, because by the reception, everyone is so tired. They don't even get to enjoy the wedding, let alone the bride and groom, right?
Exactly. And not even that, you just get tired of just a lot, right?
Yeah.
Getting ready, going there, coming back. And especially for me now being sober, not drinking anymore. I'm like, you know what, by 11:30, I just want to go home and relax, right? I'm like, enough of this.
Yeah. Well, I do still drink, and I'm with you, because by midnight, I kind of feel like our bodies kind of need to sleep. And this could be because I'm getting old now. I don't know. But I realized this year, it was on New Year's actually, and we stayed up way too late. And I was like, no, I don't think our bodies are meant to stay up past midnight. Like, they just can't handle it. When we stay up to 1, 2, we're just pushing it and partying it. And I'm like, no. I need to, midnight's my cutoff now. It's like Cinderella. Done.
Especially when you work so much too, and then you have like 2 days off or 1 day off.
Yeah.
I feel like during the week you need that rest.
Yeah.
I think 8-9 hours of sleep is,
yes,
key to having a good, productive day, right?
Yeah, totally. Make our skin look good too.
Exactly.
Stay young as long as we can, right?
I know. We're trying.
Yeah. How was that for you at the wedding? You've been sober 4 years now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you talk about going to the weddings, and I'm sure you've had lots and going out and stuff. So how is it for you at 4 years showing up at these events, and the main part of the event is standing by the bar and having a drink or two in your hand? So how do you, where do you fit in all that?
I still hang out at the bar.
Yeah.
I still have conversations. It's kind of cool because a lot of my buddies, they know what I went through. So, they respect that as well. I don't go places where, that I'm surrounded by, people that I don't want to be surrounded by anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just understanding, and, I'll have my fake drink, they call it, I guess.
What's your fake drink?
It's like a little bit of cranberry juice and 7-Up, and, I feel like I fit in.
Yeah. You gotta have the glass.
It's fun. I have so much fun. I still dance. I still, be involved in all the conversations. I feel like I enjoy the food more now.
Yeah. Yeah, you can feel it. Probably even the conversations.
Oh, definitely. It's good conversation. I tell people too, I didn't get sober to be boring. I got sober to have fun too.
Yeah.
Right. And that's really this, right? I have fun.
Yeah.
I have more fun than someone drunk. The difference is I wake up in the morning feeling good.
Yeah. And remembering it, right? I would imagine that feeling of shit, did I do something yesterday?
I used to remember I used to go to reception parties and wedding weeks, and I used to wait. I'm like, wow, I can't wait to go to these parties. It's just 2 days, 3 days of just drinking and, destroying myself and not sleeping and just feeling disgusted. And I was actually, and now the difference is I wake up, I feel good. I come home on time. No one's worried, oh, is he going to come home, or we need to pick him up or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
I drive there and I drive back all in one piece.
That's crazy. Did you ever think before you got sober that there would be a time in your life that you would be talking about going to a wedding, like an Indian wedding, and not drinking?
I would have never thought, honestly. I was like, this is it. This is my life.
Yeah.
And I can't stop. And there's no way I thought I was the only one in this. And I felt alone. There's no way I can beat this. I would stop for about a few days.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to go to the gym and I'll start eating a little bit healthy, and I'll make myself feel like, okay, I'm good. And then slowly I'd be back to the same thing, right? I'd be like, okay, I'm only going to drink or use substances for a day, for one night. And then it would just go on to the next night, until I wake up and I'm like, wow, this is not good.
Yeah, I would imagine it's definitely would you say, what's a word you would describe, relief, or I don't know, what word comes to mind when you think about now when you wake up, or after your buddy's wedding reception, waking up the next day, and what's that feeling that first comes to you?
I feel good. I tell my boss, I'm like, you're a lucky man. You don't need to worry about me not calling in sick the next day for a wedding. You tell me what day you need me to be there. I'll be there.
Yeah. You're reliable. Yeah, I bet, right? Because I would imagine that there's probably that time in your life, that time where you were drinking and, working through your addiction there. I would imagine that you weren't reliable. People probably couldn't have counted on you all the time. You probably couldn't even count on yourself.
I remember I used to Friday, get paid or whatever, and blow through that by Saturday, Sunday. I'd be gone. I'd be done. Monday, I'd be like, okay, Sunday, I'd drink more on Sunday. And then I'd wake up on Monday. I'm like, wow, I'm not going to be able to make it work. Everything's spinning around me. This is too much. And I remember those days where, losing jobs over missing days of work. And then today, it's like, I'm ready to go. And it's a different feeling, especially when you attend these weddings or go to these events. You're going to be able to wake up in the morning 100%.
It's a big difference, I would imagine. I wasn't even going to talk about the weddings yet, but you brought it up, so I'm going to go there for a second. Yeah. But what do you think is getting in the way for a lot of our community members? And it doesn't really matter if it's men or women or just the humans that attend our weddings. What do you think gets in the way? And you were that guy in there too, that we don't see the signs and we think it's okay to keep drinking like that.
I feel like it's the open bars and there's no limit. you go to a restaurant, you go to a bar, or you go to a club or wherever, you're paying $15-$20 a drink. You go to a Punjabi wedding or a reception, or you go to these events, it's an open bar, so there's no limit. You're not paying nothing except people that are providing.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's no limit. It's slowly, and a lot of people don't know it. They got a problem, but they're not going to be able to share that, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's the alcohol, right? That's kind of getting in the way.
You just made a really good point. Like, a lot of people don't know that they have a problem because, like, the open bars, I get it. It's a lot, but it's also a choice, right? So it's a choice if I walk up to that bar and have that drink or not. But for a lot of people, they feel like they don't have the choice. They feel like it's the pressure, or you and I talked about this a few times, that sometimes when we let go of these bad habits or these things that are poisons that are ruining us, we also lose our friends and people too, because they think, well, you're not fun if you don't drink, or this guy thinks he's better than us because he's not drinking. And so, like, I think there's so many things that get in the way between getting up from that table to going to the bar, knowing that I'm going to be puking all night. Like,
exactly. Like me, I'm the type of guy, right? I want everybody to have fun around me. Don't stop anybody from doing anything, because my opinion doesn't matter anyways.
I'm still trying to I'm still trying to remember that every day too. My opinion doesn't matter.
They're not going to listen anyway, so I just let them. I mean, I have fun, especially going out and enjoying life now.
Yeah.
I went to Chicago in August and I had a blast. I went out every night. We got home at 4 a.m, 5 a.m. I'm sober. My cousin's living out there right now anyways, because he's going to school out there. I stayed with him and he drinks, right? And we had fun.
Yeah.
On every night I had fun without alcohol.
Yeah.
I stayed up till 4 a.m, and he looked at me and he's like, how do you do it? Right? You're having so much fun. I'm in the club, I'm dancing. I'm not even drinking.
Yeah.
And this table across from us, we started hanging out with them and they're like, have a drink. I'm like, oh, I don't drink, but they're like, how are you even here? I don't need alcohol to have fun.
Yeah, it's like, it's the fun juice. It's I need to take a shot to loosen up. I got to have a drink to loosen up. And so we use it to build confidence and all these things. But we see, and you're going to talk in a few minutes about your journey and the struggles you had with that, because there's a line. And that's, I think, what I want to talk about today, because I see it, we see it, you were in it. A lot of our young people get taken by this horrible disease, and good for you to wake up and realize and have a support system around you and realize this isn't the way life is supposed to be. So I can't wait to get into that. But before we do that, why don't you take a moment and maybe appreciate, give a shout out to those people that have supported you, that have, I don't know if there's someone in your life that you want to give a shout out to for their role in your recovery.
I'll give a shout out to all the people in my support system. I give a shout out to Summit guys and, a few other people. I don't want to say names.
Yes, fair. Yep.
There's a let's just say there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
Like when we were talking about, being alone. I feel like today I'm not alone because there is a lot of us, and I didn't know that.
Well said. So laughter can be a powerful tool. And would you say that, is there a particular moment during your recovery, or you can look back now and find humor in anything? Was there anything in a particular time during your recovery where now when you look back, you're like, yeah, that was a funny story?
One of my cousins did send me a video, and it was me holding a bottle of Crown.
Yeah.
And that time I was overweight. I was like 300 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And I guess it was a song called Call It What You Want to Call It. I'm a fucking alcoholic.
Oh, wow. It's right to the point.
I looked at that, like, I was like 2 years sober at the time, and I looked at that video, and I'm like, this is pretty funny. I was doing some funny stuff here. I was just saying some random stuff, right?
Yeah.
Just laugh about it, right?
Yeah.
So seeing that, and I was like, wow, like that was me, eh?
Yeah. That's nice that you can laugh about that. Did you, when you look at those pictures or you think about those times that you had with friends and family and good times, do you miss some of that? Do you ever think about those times?
I do. There's been days, right, where, I'm like, I wish I could enjoy a couple of drinks and relax a bit.
Yeah.
But that's not the case today.
Yeah.
No, there's days where, sometimes you do miss those days, but I don't really think about them too much anymore, because now I'm just kind of looking forward in my life.
Yeah.
Right. And that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen, as being sober, and I see people come into this program that we're in.
Yeah.
Destroyed, and it makes me not want to drink again.
Mm-hmm.
There's days, right?
That's fair. Yeah. Like where you crave or you want. But like, good for you, because now that you're sober, I would imagine, when you see people that are struggling with their addiction, it probably looks very different to you now than when you yourself were experiencing it, I would imagine, right? Like you don't notice those things.
I'll meet people that are a day sober, right? I'll meet people that are 2 months sober, 3 months sober, 5 months sober. Some people that are 10 years sober, 20 years sober, right? I met a guy probably a couple of weeks ago. He was probably like 50 years sober. Mm-hmm. The older guy, right, obviously, but their spirituality, the way they talk, the way they present themselves, and the way they speak, it just blows your mind.
What do you think is different about that than, like you said, your mind was blown. So what do you think was different in learning that or seeing that?
The life experience, I guess, in sobriety that comes with it.
Yeah. Sometimes
you will hear things that you're like, wow, like, this was going on with me, or things like that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's like connection. That's kind of what I hear you saying.
It's a connection. Yeah, it is a connection.
Yeah, to hear people talk about these things or have someone relate with you. I would never be able to relate in the same way as someone who's been there and is now, in their recovery, months, years, however long. You guys share a special appreciation, I would imagine, how to help each other in those moments where, you want to have a drink or two. I would imagine that's where you said a few minutes ago too, like you don't feel alone as you did before.
I feel like if I am feeling those emotions or I'm feeling that way, I got a lot of people I can call today. I can reach out and be like, hey, this is happening right now, or, that's happening right now, or any situation.
Yeah.
Right. I can feel like I can reach out now.
But would you have reached out if you were going through things before your sobriety?
No, because I wouldn't have known about this.
Yeah. So it's interesting, because I feel what I hear you saying is in this process of being sober for 4 years, you're learning about yourself. You're not numbing yourself with the poison or the alcohol or the D, whatever you want to call it. It's not there. So when you feel, you get to actually recognize that feeling, like, oh, I'm upset or frustrated or irritated or whatever that is, or craving, like that. Yeah. I would imagine, like, is that kind of what I'm picking up?
I learned this is like, as long as you're aware of your emotions, that hey, I'm feeling this way, instead of you're feeling that way, or let's go have a couple of drinks and it'll go away. Now I know, hey, I'm feeling this way. Now I can know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Instead of numbing myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's amazing, because we're humans. We are so amazing on so many different levels, and when we really, really spend the time getting to know ourselves, and that comes at all different ages, but when we do that, oh my gosh, it's like exactly what you said. We don't feel alone. We feel like we can rely on ourselves. Like, but any situation I'm in, I'm the first one there because it's me, right? People have to wait for me. So if I can't rely on myself, that's rough. That's hard. And to do the hard work and get to where you are, I think that's amazing. So I'm going to ask you one more thing, and then we're going to get into our middle fingers up segment, and then we're going to get more into your journey. What would you say is something you would have only learned about yourself through being sober?
That I would have only learned about myself being sober?
Yeah. Something you didn't know about yourself before you were sober. What do you know now about you?
Now I know that. That's a good question. I like to take care of myself more.
Yeah.
I feel like before I would never take care of myself. Eating out all the time, obviously drinking tons of beer, and it catches up to you.
Yeah.
And especially I was 26 at that time. I was, unhealthy. Mm-hmm. So now I feel like in my sobriety is that I know about myself is I love to take care of myself. In the gym almost every day. I mean, I've lost 100 pounds.
Oh.
So lost 100 pounds. And Yeah, my sobriety journey. Yeah, just learning to take care of myself more.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's good, and congrats on the losing the weight. I would imagine that's to help you feel more healthy. I see your pictures on Instagram. You're at the gym all the time. Yeah. I think that's good. I wonder what is it about physical exercise that you would say helps with this journey of recovery?
I feel like for me, for myself, it's not about, looking like a bodybuilder. I feel like it's that 1 hour of my day where I just put my headphones in and just work out and cut everything else out, especially when you got work or, the home life and things outside of that. I feel like the gym just kind of keeps me calm, and it's just my space where I just get 1 hour of the day just to kind of do my own thing. Yeah. And it's more for mental for me.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that too. That it's like funny, we same thing. I do the physical workout, and for me, for years, it was about trying to look a certain way. And then, you hit your 40s and you're like, oh, I had a talk with my mom one day, and she's like, I'm really glad you're weightlifting, because you're going to need that strength as you get older. If you break a leg or roll an ankle, you can heal faster. And I'm like, Mom, you're so brilliant. Because that somehow changed a script in my mind and helped me realize, oh yeah, I'm working out for the wrong reasons. Like, this is why I'm going to the gym or wherever it is I'm working out. It's to stay healthy. And the impact that we have on our mental health when we can get that energy out and put it to positive use by push, pull, whatever it is we're doing in the gym, or even going for a walk, whatever it is, like, movement has so much connection to our well-being, and good for you to recognize that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I feel like, you have to work on yourself mentally. I mean, a lot of people don't. That's why everybody's always stressed out or don't know how to deal with situations. I work on myself a lot.
Yeah.
Going to meetings or talking to people, especially people that are a lot older than me, and that are in this program with me. And like I mentioned before about the life experience they have.
Yeah. It's like your future, right? You're the past, yeah, they're the future.
Exactly. So I just kind of reach out. I got one of my friends, I think he's 75. And I reach out to him all the time. I call him all the time. Yeah. Right? We're like good friends.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And when in your life would you have imagined that you would be friends with someone that has 30, 40 years of experience, right? In comparison to you.
I would have never thought I'd have a friend that's 75.
Yeah.
The coolest person ever, right? And you just, we're quit drinking about, I think he's been almost 25 years sober now. Amazing dude, right? I love him to death. He's kind of a mentor to me too, in a way.
Yeah.
Where I look up to him, right? And, he'll be like, no, Prav, I look up to you, right? You young guys.
Yeah, young guys, yeah.
Most people I wish we not at your age, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no doubt. All right, man, let's do it. Let's do our middle fingers up segment. What do you want to put your middle fingers up to today?
Middle fingers up to people that think it's not okay to get help.
I like what you just said right there about people that think it's okay to not get help, but I want to hear that. Like, were you one of those people back in the day?
I was one of them back in the day, because when I was in my addiction, I met this one guy, and he's one of my mentors, and he's actually my sponsor. So I met him at work. He came by, and he was doing work for us, and it was New Year's. And I'm like, oh, what are you doing for New Year's? And he's like, oh, I'm going to a sober event. And I'm like, who the hell goes to a sober New Year's party? Like, what? Like, what are you talking about here? And I was making fun of him, basically, right?
Yeah.
And then, after I came out of recovery, I talked to him, and I told him the story, and I'm like, I was laughing at you at that time, and he's like, yeah. He's like, no, we talk every day.
What do you think gets in the way, though, for folks, like for you, for me, for many people, when we think that, yeah, like I don't need help, or I'll be fine, or it's weak to go seek help or go talk to someone?
I feel like it's the ego, the pride, it gets in the way. A lot of people don't want to get help, and then they're stuck in the same position as they were. I feel like in my experience, when I was in my addiction, I didn't want help, because I'd be like, wow, who wants to go get help? Like, that makes no sense. Just keep drinking and keep destroying yourself, right? That's fun. Like, I thought that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like it's okay to go get help, right? It's okay to reach out. I reached out and I got help, and my life today is amazing. Like, I enjoy my life.
Yeah. Big difference with that.
Right.
I appreciate that. And funny, I told you, sometimes I'll add my middle fingers or not. And I wrote something down that is similar to what you're saying, but it was actually inspired by our first conversation you and I had. So when you first reached out to me and said, hey, I don't know you, but I'm interested in this. And I was like, oh my gosh, you were my first, by the way, you are my first person that reached out that I wasn't connected to or someone didn't recommend. You yourself were like, I want to do this. So this is huge. But one thing you said to me on the phone was, sometimes in our community or maybe in our friend circle, when people see us sharing our story, and, for you, your story is about recovery. And in order to talk about recovery, you have to talk about your addiction and, those things. Yeah. And sometimes when you told me, sometimes when we share our story, people will say like, don't do that. Don't share that. You don't want people to feel sorry for you. You don't want people to think less of you or weak, or you don't want people to feel like they have to worry for you. And that stayed in my head like over and over. And I thought about that so much. And I thought, like my middle fingers are going up to fucking society's expectations of this thing where you don't tell people your problems. You have to look like you're perfect. You have to act like you're perfect. The house, the beautiful kids, family, whatever you want to call perfect in your world. And inside we're suffering. And I think I see it a lot in our community where we put this brave face on. And the thing is, like what you did, reaching out and saying, I want to talk about my story, I think that's being brave, right? Like, and so I appreciated you highlighted that and shared that. And I've been talking to a lot of my friends like back home in BC too about sometimes we have to get that out of our head. Like telling people our story isn't to make them feel sorry. If I'm telling you my story and I need you to do something for me, maybe. But if I'm owning it and I'm being responsible and saying, this is my life, this is what I'm dealing with, and I'm okay with it, fuck yeah, man. We should be telling our stories because today maybe someone else listening is going to think, okay, maybe I can also get help.
Yeah, or reach out. Like I have one of my buddies, I met him actually at a meeting and he was always coming in and out. And then I got a phone call today from him because he went to treatment, same place I went to. And he just came out today and I asked him, like, how was it? He's like, it was amazing. He's like, honestly, I learned a lot of stuff that I never knew about. And told him, I'm like, hey, a lot of people don't have this gift. A lot of people don't get what we get. And him learning about God or learning to let things go or everything about this program, right?
Yeah.
He was just the happiest guy ever. Like it was just hearing his voice, right? You can see the change and the difference.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's almost like you're lighter because you're able to. And you know what? Like talking about it doesn't make the problems go away. It's just getting it out of our head and our body and out we can figure it out.
And he was one of those guys where he was scared to go get help, right? He was like, oh, what are people going to think about me? Or what is this guy going to say? Or what is my work going to say? Or this, that. Like for myself, when I went to go get help, I was like, I don't care. I'm done. I'm going to go get help.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care what that person, I literally just turned my phone off.
Yeah.
I left, packed my bags, and I just left.
Yeah.
And no one knew where I was. My best friend was trying to reach out to my sister or my cousin and stuff like that. Like, where'd he go, right? And it was crazy because as soon as I came back and I was on the ferry, I turned my phone on and my best friend called me. He's like, where the hell have you been? And I'm like, hey, this is where I went. And he's like, that's the best decision you could make in your life. And that's why, I love everything about recovery and what it's done for me.
Good for you. I think that's amazing. And I'd like to ask you if you have advice or what would you tell those folks maybe today that are listening that are so worried or paralyzed because of what other people or whether it's their work, like this person that you were talking about, their work, their life, or people might think about them. What would you say to those folks? What's something that you would want to tell them?
Like, it's okay to get help. It's okay to reach out. You're not going to be any less than anybody else. I feel like you're a true man or woman if you reach out and get help, right? And accept that, hey, you need help. You need this, instead of staying in the same spot as you always are.
Yeah. Well said.
For myself.
No, I think that's well said. I agree with you. It's like, it's being brave and having a lot of courage. And I don't know, I hope that, people that we love and we see suffering, we can help them flip that to, it's actually being more brave to say something than not. But, like you said earlier, we can't tell others, and, we can only start with ourselves and
it starts with you. Right?
It does. It does.
You, like, I look at myself in the mirror, and, every decision I make, every choice I make, it's on me. Yeah. I feel like, if I'm not going to go to work tomorrow, or if I'm not going to do this tomorrow, if I'm not going to go to the gym tomorrow, that's a decision I made. Mm-hmm. Even for myself, like going to a meeting or reaching out, right? No one's telling me to do that. I do it myself because I know what's best for me. Mm-hmm. So every decision I make today in my life is because I want to do that. Yeah. Right? Like my family, my parents, or my sister, or anybody around me not telling me to go do that. I make that decision. I go to a meeting, or I go to this.
So then tell me, what made you reach out and want to share your story?
I just wanted to share my story. I wanted to reach out and be the voice. Be like, if someone is listening. And for myself, I'll tell you one thing where how I got into recovery was I was sitting there on, I think I was on like a 3-day drinking spree or bender, if you want to call that. And I was sitting there, I was just Googling, how to get help. And then I came across Summit's story on Global News. Mm-hmm. And I sat there and I'm like, I'll just listen to the story. I'm like, I need to get a hold of this guy. Like, how do I get a hold of him? Like, it was crazy. I was like, this guy gets me. I'm like, I need to get a hold of him. And I sat there and I emailed his organization, Live Big. Shout out to them.
Yes, big shout out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big shout out. And I reached out to him and I'm like, hey, you know what? I need to get help. And just hearing his story. And I was like, this guy gets me. And then I called and we talked on the phone for a little bit, for almost about a year and a half, I feel like. Yeah, we talked. And then one day he's like, hey, let's go to a meeting in Vancouver. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, oh my God, who wants to go to a meeting like this? Is embarrassing. I don't want to be seen there, right? All these things, right? So I'm like, okay, let's go check it out. I go to Surrey, I meet Summit, and then there's like 4 other guys, young guys my age, just like me, sitting there, and we're talking about recovery and addiction and everything. We're driving to Vancouver to this meeting. It was a good meeting, definitely, but at that time I didn't get it. I was still stuck in my own way. And even when I went to that meeting, I came back and I grabbed, on the way back, I'm like, I'm gonna grab a beer. This is, I'm never gonna get help anyways, right? I'm not gonna go through with this. And then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse, where, when you're just sick of tired of being sick and tired. And then I'd call Summit and I'd be like, hey, I'm going to go. And they're like, okay, he'll set it all up for me. I'm ready to go. And then I'd block his number the next day. And then this one time I was obviously, coming back from drinking and using and I was like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm done. I go up to my mom and my sister. My dad was in India at that time. And I'm like, hey, I need help, right? I want to go. I need to do this. I'm like, it's either I'm going to die or something bad's going to happen. I'm like, it's just that gut feeling you have inside you. Where you're like, you know what? So I reached out to Summit again, and someone's like, okay, Prav, like, you bailed on me twice already. Like, are you serious about this? So I gave a deposit. I'm like, hey, I'm serious. Like, to the recovery center. And I'm like, hey, I'm done. Right? I can't live like this anymore. And I literally, the next day, I got onto the ferry because it was all the way in Victoria. Took the ferry there, turned my phone off, and I went and enjoyed time there. Like, it was amazing. Like, honestly, like, it was a beautiful place. It changed my life, and that's why I really recommend, hey, go get help, go do it, because it changed my life, and I feel like if others start doing it, it'll change their life.
Yeah.
And even after that, I followed through with the plan, stuck to meetings, stuck to the people I know, and 4 years later, today I'm here talking to you.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Like, when you relive that and you think...
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if I'm sharing my story and a guy like me, I didn't even know who Summit was. I don't know what any of this stuff was. And all I did was just reach out and, maybe the first time I didn't go, the second time I didn't go, third time I didn't go, and then eventually you're just gonna go.
Yeah.
And making that, coming back, and I feel like I came back stronger and better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, like way stronger, like mentally and physically now. Like I feel like I can get through anything in life.
Yeah. How does your family, like, how did they support you? Did they know you were struggling with addiction, or did they think you were okay?
They knew I was struggling. They knew how bad it was. I put them through a lot.
Yeah.
And today I can go up to them right now and they're so happy, right? I get to wake up, my mom's happy, my dad's happy, my sister's happy, my families are happy, my friends are happy.
Yeah. They got you back.
They got me back, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What would you want to say to them right now? If they were listening, what is one thing you'd want to say to your mom, your dad, and your sister? You said you put them through a lot, so I'm just curious if there's anything you'd want to say to them.
Oh, that I love them and I'm going to keep going on this path, right? I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lifetime commitment for me, right? It's not a joke, right? It's not like, I take it very seriously. I feel like if I'm surrounded in a place where I don't need to be or I don't want to be, I will, leave, or I will not talk to that person or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. It's very different than how it was before, I would imagine, because like we talked about a few minutes ago, when we're numb or when you're using in that way, you don't really have the ability to recognize what's happening around you or know that this isn't a good place to be or what. And so now you're in this place where that's so cool that you feel so much power within to be able to say, I'm going to head out or see you later. And you don't have to make a scene. It's like, I got a thing I got to get to or whatever it is, but you don't have to be there.
Yeah. I leave my house, no one's worried. I come back home, no one's worried, right? I'm at work every day early in the morning. Yeah. I come home on time. I'm in the gym. I mean, I keep my life very simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, they don't have to worry about a single thing, right? They get their son back and they're super happy today, right? We live a pretty good life, right? I've had a pretty good life.
Yeah.
Especially since childhood. My parents, everybody's parents, right? They work hard and they give their kids everything they need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And then things like, addiction or things happen in life.
Yeah.
And then I feel like parents don't know how to deal with those side of things. Especially like I'll get a call from one of my mom's friends. Her son's ringing now, right? And, it's kind of cool, right? They're reaching out to me, right? Yeah. And he's like 18 years old, right? And I'm like, he's still going to do his thing. If it does get worse or something bad happens, call me, I'll come talk to him, right? But
because it's kind of cool. There's fear there. I feel
like a lot of people are reaching out now, right? I feel like people do reach out to me, and it's kind of cool, right? And I'll be like, wow, like this guy's going through this. Like I never knew that. Like, or I'll meet this guy, and I'm like, wow, like he's going through that. Like, it's just kind of cool, right? The people you meet and the people you see.
Yeah, and like having real conversations to know that, sometimes you've known someone, a cousin or a friend all your life, and you didn't even know that they were suffering or their addiction was pretty quiet or silent, or you didn't notice it in the same way. And now to be able to have those kind of conversations with folks in a way that's like, oh my gosh, people are sharing what they're going through or asking for help and all that. I think that's good, because you're one more person that gets to be a resource in our community. And we need that, right? Yeah. We know you are an example of many, many South Asian boys growing up, child of immigrant parents. Like you said, they work hard, they do everything they can for us. And there's a big gap of education for some of our parents when they're raising us in a different country. All they know is India, and yet they're raising us in Canada. And that's not easy for all of our parents.
I remember, like my mom wouldn't, or my dad, my dad, my sister, they would not know what to do. Right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't know what to do with me. They were like, well, we don't know what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
Or take me to the doctor. Like they're taking me to the doctor. The doctor didn't know himself.
Yeah. Which is too bad that the doctor couldn't have helped, though. But yeah, I hear you, right? No. That's like the first place we go is the doctor.
I'm not saying all doctors are bad, but my doctor, he didn't know what was going on. He told me, I'll tell you a funny story, actually, because we were laughing about it a couple weeks ago. Like I went to my doctor. I'm like, I need help, right? I can't stop drinking. It's a big problem in my life. Being serious about it, and like, why don't you just have 2 drinks and put the lid on the bottle, right? And I'm like, that's the problem. I'm like, I can't close the bottle.
I lost the
lid. I lost the lid, yeah.
Oh man, that's great advice, doctor. Jeez, man. But that's the thing. Like, I think that's the message, though. What I hear you saying is, we may not get what we need from, let's say the doctor or our mom or our friend, but there's so many other places we can go to. And I think we just can't stop. And I hear that in your story. Like, you didn't stop, right? You tried to figure out, and yeah, it didn't work the first time or the second time or whenever, but
it didn't work my way, right?
But it worked by the fourth time.
Yeah, like it wouldn't work my way. Now, accepting help from others worked, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially when someone else has been through what you've been through.
Yeah.
And then you build a connection, and you build that friendship, and then you become family, right? Yeah. And it's a fellowship, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's so many different people that I know today that have been through that, and I'm like, wow, like this guy, he's been through that too. Wow, like I'm not alone, right?
That's just it. The more we talk, the more we get to realize we're not alone. And sometimes when we don't talk, we think I'm the only one going through this, and that's hard to think that. But yeah, once you start sharing, you realize, oh yeah, you too. I was going to ask you, because you mentioned growing up was relatively good. Can you take us back, though, to the beginning of your journey, like before your recovery? Did you, like now when you look back, what were some of the early signs that made you realize that you needed to make a change?
Like when I first started drinking?
Yeah, like now that you're sober and when you look back, it could be maybe when you were growing up, it could be when you were a teen, but do you feel like there were signs or the path that was leading you to your addiction and you didn't realize it then?
I feel like it just start with a couple of drinks and I'd feel like, okay, I'm drunk, and then slowly it became a weekend thing, and then slowly it became almost every third day, and then slowly when the substances kicked in and I started drinking and using substances to numb myself, that's when things got really worse. That's when I was like, hey, you know what, this is a problem in my life. The signs, I knew the signs are always there. I just didn't, like going back to, I didn't want to get help. Yeah. I didn't want to reach out. I just felt like, hey, this is it. Because after a couple of drinks or anything in you, right, you don't see those signs anymore. You feel like you're on top of the world.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. You feel relaxed. Yeah.
You feel relaxed. Like, wow, okay, you're not seeing any signs anymore. You're just kind of numbing everything away, and you're like, this is okay.
Yeah. Would you say you were running, every time you were using, you were running away from some personal problems, or you were running to something? Like, what would you say, running away from something, or the alcohol was to run towards?
I feel like I was running away from my true self, right? Who Prav really, truly was. Yeah. I feel like things did happen in the past too, but I wasn't running away from that. I just felt like, I just got into that, and it was like a normal thing for me now. Yeah. It was like the new norm for me. Yeah. Right? 7, 8 years of my life, that was normal to me. Yeah. When you're at that age too, is when you're developing as well as a person. Yeah. Lose that time as well. Yeah. And that's where I really had to work on myself the last 4 years of my life. Really had to develop myself. I've done counseling, stuff like that. Yeah. It's kind of cool right now. My friend that just came out of recovery, he's calling me. Oh, you can answer it if you want. He's been calling me all day.
That's fair. He probably wants to talk. There's probably so much on his mind, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, he's loving it. He's loving it. He's loving life right now. Yeah. I remember when I first came out, I was so happy. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And it was during COVID too. So it's funny because it was like during COVID, and I was sitting at home, and I'm like, I'm bored. I'm like, what should I do now? I'm like, what do I do, right? Like, I go to meetings. I got to do online meetings. There's nothing to do. So I lived in Mission that time. So I used to just take my dog for a walk. And then I'm like, can't walk too much during the day. And then I bought a PlayStation, never touched it, returned it. And then COVID stopped, went back to work and normal life, right?
Was that hard to be sober during COVID?
Especially in the treatment center, I've met a lot of good people. Especially I met a friend that was out from here, and then a couple of friends from actually Surrey. So we'd all get together on a daily, probably like every second day, and we'd go do something, or we'd barbecue, or we'd go to the beach, or we'd all stay connected. Yeah. Or working, right? I'd work out every day at home. Yeah. Right. So I kept myself very busy.
Yeah. 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 Because the rest of the world was baking banana bread and sharing cocktail recipes online all the time. So I would imagine like, you know, like everyone's got a drink in their hand, celebrities, everyone. So what an interesting time to go through that.
Yeah. I'd keep myself very busy. Like even today, like now I keep myself very busy too, right? I'm busy with work all day, and then I'm in the gym. By the time I get home, I'm already so tired. I'm like, I'm done. Then I watch a movie and I go to bed, and then weekends, I'm in the gym in the morning too, right? I keep my day very full.
Yeah.
Right?
You find that helpful?
I feel like you need a structured life.
Yeah.
You have to build a structured life, especially when you're in recovery as well.
Yeah.
Structured life is really important.
Okay. Yeah. I would imagine, because when we don't have that structure, there's a lot more opportunity to dabble into.
For myself, if I'm like sitting in my room alone by myself, or my mind starts wandering, start thinking about things.
Yeah.
And then I need to keep myself busy.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, do you also give your mind a break too? Because there's structure is important, but also like the balance of having a bit of a break or, rest or whatnot. Like how do you counteract that?
I'll go for walks and then gym, right?
Yeah.
That's very important for me, right? So that 1 hour of my day where I kind of shut everything down and I just focus on the gym and then just put my headphones in and work out, right? That's how I kind of deal with it. Or I go to a meeting, hour long, and I go hang out with everybody and we talk about stuff, things that are happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like, that kind of really helps me.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm actually learning to kind of having downtime, right?
That's what I was asking. I was wondering. Yes.
Before I was going go, and then we just built our house about 6 months ago, in Abbotsford here. So I bought a big TV, and I'm like, you know what, this is gonna be my downtime now, right? So I've been watching Netflix, I'm just sitting back and putting my phone away, right?
What do you watch? What's your go-to show right now?
Right now, I've started Top Boy. Yeah, Top Boy.
What's that one?
It's an older show.
There's so much, right, to choose from. So you've talked about a bit of your journey of recovery, and we talked a little bit about signs. Let's talk a little bit about challenges. So as we know, and you've shared too, recovery is a journey, and I'm sure ups and downs. So what were some of the most challenging moments you faced during recovery, and how did you overcome that?
Like challenges?
Yeah, like what was like one of the hardest or couple hard things about your, going through recovery once you came out of, so you think about your buddy now that just got out of treatment.
Changing, like, just your circle of friends. And then I feel like, just places that you go that you're kind of used to going. And just being around unhealthy environments. I feel like all my old friends are not in my life anymore. And great people, nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But I just felt like I had to go my own way. And I feel like my friends that were in my life before and that were great people, and they're back in my life today. I feel like just changing environments, right? I feel like if you're still surrounding yourself with the same people, you're going to go back to that eventually.
That's a really good point. Yeah, because you come out, I would imagine you come out of recovery or treatment with lots of hope. And when's the last time you would have felt that kind of hope? Yeah,
exactly. Like me, myself, like I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going back to that. There's no way.
Yeah.
I'm like, life's too good, and just waking up, seeing your family happy, that's just priceless. Right? Yeah. You can't beat that.
Yeah. Well, and now that you're on this side of it, you can't beat it. In the beginning, I would imagine like that's hard because, like you said, you have to completely change your life in many ways now. Your environment, where you go socialize, and all that.
Everything, you have to change everything around you.
And right? you stand.
That's why I feel like people don't want to get help, because I feel like they know they need to change everything around them, and they don't want to, or you're stuck in these friendships or relationships that you've built. Yeah. And it's hard to get out of. Yeah. Right. And it's hard to get out of that circle. Yeah. And that's why a lot of people won't accept that they need help.
Yeah. That's the question. Like, you talked a little bit about how you decided to accept that you need help, but I agree with you. I think I listen to you and I talk to you, and I think others that are listening, might be thinking, oh yeah, I have a drink every day. I have a couple of drinks every day or every few days. And, I would want to know, okay, so what should I be paying attention to? Where's the line between I'm a social drinker to I am an addict? Like, where's the line? Because so many people think they're social drinkers, right?
Exactly.
Very few of us would say, oh yeah, I'm an addict. So where's the line? Like it must be very close, right? Like to think, oh yeah, I can go and drink every day and all day and I'm functioning, to realizing maybe that's not the best way to live and that's not helpful to me. It's not helpful to my family. How would you define where that line is? How would I know that I'm not okay and I do need to look into this?
I feel like if your life gets very unmanageable and let's say you're not going to work or, you're spending all your money on alcohol or going out all the time and, you're acting different, things like that, right? And I feel like if you're, not being able to get up in the morning anymore the way you used to, or, you start getting lazy with things.
Yeah.
You don't feel like yourself anymore. Right. Then I feel like, you need to step it down a little bit or kind of realize, hey, it's going that way now.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse and worse.
Yeah. What would you say that, like, what do we need to do to help our young people in our community? Like, what could we be doing to help the boys we're raising, the young people we're raising? It's obviously addiction is a big problem in our community. And I'm talking about the South Asian community. And like you said, it's alcohol in particular, substances, not so much, but alcohol is everywhere we go in our community. It's a celebration. It's, if I'm going to serve you some food, I'm also going to offer you, and we know if you go to someone's house, it's disrespectful if you don't offer them a drink or whatnot. All these customs that we have. But a lot of these customs, I think, cover up alcoholism in many ways, right? It's like we have to drink, or we have to, or he didn't offer me a drink, or whatever it is we're doing to do it. So what do you think we need to do more to shed light on this and help the young people in our community, or even that young 18-year-old that your mom's friend with, her son that she's worried about? What are some things we can be doing?
I feel like talking about these things, especially in schools, or talking about it, or, especially like podcasts like this, right? Talking about it, right? And sharing things like that, or being open to your kids, letting them be aware of these things. Mm-hmm. Things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, my buddy, he doesn't drink either, so it's kind of cool. He's one of my best friends, and he quit drinking. He's been about a year, and he came up to me one day and he's like, you inspire me, man. Like, he's like, haven't drank for a year. So now we just plan like a night out, right? And we just go and have fun, right? We'll enjoy, right? So,
yeah. I think you've done a really nice job talking about how important it is to find a support group, people that are in a similar place as you in terms of not putting yourself in a position where you're around, the things like the alcohol in this case, or other substances, and finding people that you can build a relationship with that don't revolve around substances. Like, how cool is that?
No, I feel like a lot of my friends today that are in the program now, and I feel like a lot of people that are not in the program that I don't really talk to too much anymore. But there's a handful of people I still talk to, but a lot of my friends are in the program now. It's kind of cool, and they're all good people. Yeah, and you'll never get one bad advice from them.
I think that's lovely, and I'm really, really, like, I feel really hopeful hearing that there are young people, there are people in our community that are seeking help, and I wish people will be able to get to a place like you where they'll want to share that more, so we can see that good change happening. And I'm sure this is something you can probably relate to, but I see a lot in our community where the only time, friends or relatives, family members will talk about really deep things, or, my brother and I always laugh, he and his friends call it emotional talk. And the only time emotional talk happens is, at midnight after 100 drinks, right?
Exactly.
And then you don't remember it. But you just finished telling your friend probably something so big in terms of like, I want to hurt myself, or I feel depressed, or I'm having problems with my, partner or whatever. And nobody's going to remember this tomorrow, or we're not going to talk about it when we're sober. And so what do you think we need to do in our community, or that people can start to pay attention to with that, is like, if we're having emotional talk only when we're drinking or using substances, like, do you suggest about that? I'm sure you've been there.
I feel like when you're talking about, when you're drinking and you're having this emotional, you're going to forget about it the next day anyways. And I feel like the problem is always still there. And I feel like when you're when you got a support system and, you, especially for myself and being in recovery, I deal with all my problems now without drinking. I talk about my problems or any situation in life that comes my way, right? I reach out and I get the help, or I'll talk to someone about it, right? It's easier. And then I feel like when you're having that emotional drunk talk, you're not really dealing with it because you're just going to forget about it the next day anyway. You're not going to remember what was said or what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. It's nothing like getting cornered in a reception party and, someone's telling you the sad story and, you're like, oh my gosh, should we even be talking about this here right now, let alone like now I'm going to be worried about you tomorrow. And
I have it like where I'll be somewhere and someone will be, drunk and they'll talk to me about these things. And in the back of my head, I'm like, you're not going to remember this tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think what makes me sad is like, when I see that, I just want people to know that we are so worthy and people are so worthy to not have to medicate ourselves to talk about the things that really matter to us. Like we are so worthy and we don't have to be embarrassed and we're not making a big deal out of something. It's obviously important to us and we have to be able to talk about those things. And if we're thinking about them during the day, I hope that people can just bring them out during the day or without the drink coming out or the substance coming out with it. That's a hope.
I feel like if I don't call anybody or if I don't reach out or things like that, or, because we're friends now, right? So we'll talk all the time, or if I'm not at a meeting or if I'm not, active, like we have WhatsApp groups and stuff. Like I have a bunch of them. So we all say good morning in the morning, or we'll have a passage in the morning. We'll read that in the morning, right? And we all stay connected. Like Summit, I'll call him at 5 a.m. because I know that's the only time I'll get a hold of him. Right?
He's a busy man.
Yeah, he's a busy man, right? So that's the only time I get a hold of him.
Yeah.
Or I have a couple other friends that call me in the morning, right before we start our day.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you always, like, I feel like I always remember where I came from. Because I'll look at those messages or I'll read about something, and it's always something to do with the recovery, right?
Yeah.
So I always remember in the back of my head before I start my day, hey, I knew where I came from.
Yeah. Yeah. Gratitude.
I feel like once you saw gratitude, that's one thing we learn, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm also doing the steps right now too.
Okay.
So I'm in the 12 steps.
Yeah.
It's the steps you do, right?
Yeah.
And it puts you in a different place in your life.
Yeah.
And I do that every year. Kind of write out your things, or you work the steps, right? I work the steps every day.
Yeah. Good for you, man. That's you found something that invited you in, and works for you, and that's the key, is not giving up. Keep trying to find something that will help us and, work through our problems. Yeah, right. Okay, so can you share a couple more questions I'm going to ask you. One is, what would you want to go back and tell yourself over 4 years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago today, the person that you were before your recovery? What would you want to go back? What kind of conversation would you want to have with yourself?
That everything's going to be okay.
Oh.
Everything will be all right. Things are going to work out the way they're supposed to work out. And you're going to live an amazing life that you always dreamed about. Because in my addiction, I was always, how is that person getting ahead? Or, why am I in the same spot? Or why my life's not the way it's supposed to be? Or I'd always think like in my head that why, all these whys in my head, right? And now today I look at my life and I'm like, I live a really good life. I live a really good life.
Yeah.
An amazing life. And I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah. Aw, you just like made me a little teary. I think good for you to think like, yeah, everything's going to be okay. And you're right. We have one life and the key is to stay healthy. And that's the only thing that's going to help us.
Enjoy it, right? And enjoy your life. Enjoy every minute of it.
Yeah. When we get, I learned from I had a South Asian psychologist on, and I really appreciated that she said this, that the things that we often worry about, other people are going to judge us about, are the things that we're actually worried about judging ourselves with. And it just...
Exactly. Like, I'm not scared of, my past or what I was before. I am who I am today because of my past.
Yeah.
I feel like if I could look back and be like, wow, poor me, that happened to me, and why did it happen to me?
Yeah.
I feel like if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Yeah, like you own it, and you're and you're still working through it. Like you got a long life to go.
And it happened. Things do happen in life. I feel like everybody goes through something. No one's life is perfect. We're in this world where we look at Instagram and TikTok and all these social media platforms, and we look at, other people's lives, and, it's a 5-second video of like, hey, wow, look at this guy's life. Wow, he's driving that car, or he's got that watch on, or he's got that shirt on, or, they make it look pretty good, right?
Yeah. Well, and I remember, even Summit saying he had many thousands dollars suit on, a very expensive car, had the watch, and he walked into Tim Hortons and couldn't even pay for the coffee at that time before he went through his recovery.
A lot of people do look good from the outside, but no one knows what's going on the inside.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's because we've been taught to focus more of our time and attention on the outside and very little on the inside. And I think that's where a lot of our issues with knowing how to talk and even addiction starts, because when you're inside, our head, because we don't know how to get it out, because we're more into looking good, it catches up to us eventually. And I think, that's the key in what you're saying. So, okay. So advice, if someone listening is currently struggling with addiction, what advice would you offer them based on your own experience?
Reach out for help sooner than later. And I promise you, once you seek that help and you get out, there's a lot of us that are willing to walk with you, support you, be there for you, and help you. Things will be okay.
Yeah. So looking ahead, as you look ahead, what are some goals for the future? Like, how has recovery shaped your vision for the life you want to lead?
I feel like I just take it day by day.
Yeah.
I don't plan too much. I feel like, and especially in the program, right, we take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm always taking it, right? I feel like I got 24 hours, and that's what I always look at. I don't look at tomorrow. Tomorrow's tomorrow. Today's today.
Yeah.
Right. And wherever God's going to take me, or whatever's going to happen in the next few years, that's going to have to accept that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta tell you another story. I had one of my friends, actually one of my co-workers, and it was my 3-year sobriety, right? And we had this huge celebration at a meeting, and there was a bunch of us that came, and my friends came, people from work came, and there was a lot of people, and these people, and no one's seen what I've always talked about these meetings, and I'm like, wow, you guys gotta come check this out, right? Like, this is cool, right? Like, this is something that you gotta attend. And it was funny because one of my coworkers, like, hey, you want free pizza? You want free cake? Come by. So this guy showed up, right? He's excited about the pizza and the cake. He didn't know what was going on. He sat there the whole hour and he was crying, right? He sat there and he was like, wow, like, this is powerful. Like, he came up to me the next day. He's like, I know. He's like, I understand why you go there, man.
Yeah. When you figure out what it's like to have someone having your back, truly having your back. And also, I think the community that you belong to probably has so much space for just being human. So anger, crying, all the things that we sometimes are afraid for our family and loved ones to see because we protect them. Yeah. So when you have people,
you can share anything. You can share how you're feeling.
Yeah.
You can share what's going on. Yeah. Things happen in life. You share that, and we figure it out. We move forward.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe you'll hear something there that that you're going through, and then you're like, wow, like, that person's going through that too. Like, okay, and then you don't feel alone.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're feeling alone and you feel like this is only happening to you, that's when things get bad. But then when you're like, well, like, this happened to this person, or that happened to that person too, like, then you don't feel alone.
It's a relief for sure. Okay, so anything you wish I had asked you or that you wanted to go back and add to?
No, that was it. Pretty much what I wanted to say.
Call to action time. So this would be the time that I would ask you to share a piece of either an action, something listeners can go and do, or a thought, something listeners can think about. What would you like to leave them with?
Every day, just wake up and, just pray to God and get through the day, right? And for myself, what I like to do is I pray in the morning, and then before I go to bed, I pray. And that's always helped me. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I always tell everyone else around me, that if you start doing that, I feel like your life will be a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just wanted to take a second and thank you. I appreciate, first and foremost, like, from the bottom of my heart, it meant so much to me when you reached out. No, honestly, because people people want to do these things, and I know lots gets in the way, and you did it. You called, you said, let's do this. I want to do it. We had some obstacles along the way where we couldn't book or we had to reschedule, and you were game. You were like, I'm doing this every day. Hey, ready to go. Even today, you messaged me before I even messaged you, saying, hey, ready to go. So you've been.
I got home from work and I'm like, okay, I got to do this.
No, for sure. And I honestly hope that this isn't the only time we have this conversation, because I think when folks like you come on that have gone through something like you have, and you share in the way that you do, people really connect and people really reach out. And I would love to have you back on sometime. So
definitely, maybe me and Summit will do one together.
Yeah, maybe
we can do something together.
Yeah, that'd be really cute to have both of you on. Yeah, I'd love that.
No,
okay, so for everyone listening today, these conversations are door openers. And if you enjoyed this conversation, you're curious about this conversation, or maybe you want to add to it, just like Prav did, give us a call, reach out to us. You know where to find us. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay tuned for more engaging discussions. I really appreciate keeping the conversation going. And so take care.